Good morning, I'm Diola Casio, and this is my journey throughout this capstone project. Now, as a young developing learner, I always thought that I would go to school after graduating high school. I always dreamt of going to school, earning a bachelor's degree in health science, get a job, have a steady source of income, and live my life. However, I did not think too much of my happiness. My main focus was just to go to school, work hard, earn money, and save lives. Once again, my happiness wasn't very much considered. And so this is what started my project. And as mentioned, my happiness was not truly considered. And so I thought about this project of building something, which is something that I am passionate about. And so why build a plant stand? Well, I wanted to build a plant stand because, first of all, my dad is a green thumb. He loves to garden. It's something that relaxes him and brings joy. And since he's always stressed, it brings joy to my heart that he's happy. And also for my mom, she loves organizing. She loves any interior designs and just overall having new furniture. And so I created a plant stand. Now here's my final creation. I chose to build an asymmetrical plant stand with a total of 4 different level platforms so that it can hold various shapes and sizes of plants. Now, this project gave me an excuse to spend time with my friends and family because that is something that I value in life. Now, first I wanted to look at inspiration on Pinterest. On the left is the basic structure that I had envisioned for my product, and the crisscross pattern and the overhang were 2 components that I wanted to include. From those pictures, alongside others, I got to work and began to plan my ideas and the basic structure that I had envisioned. I got approval from people in my network alongside my friends and family. And this was the product that got everyone's approval. Once the idea was finalized, I discussed my plan with my father about budgeting and trips to Home Depot for my supplies. I also explained my blueprint, measurements, and wood pieces to utilize every single one of them and avoid extra pieces in the end. Once everything was well thought out, my brother and my dad took me to Home Depot to gather all the supplies that I needed. I ended up purchasing wood stain, sandpaper, and of course, wood pieces. All the other supplies I already had in my garage. Finally, once I had all of my supplies gathered, I got straight to work. And this is my favorite part. Considering I deem myself a kinesthetic learner, hands-on things were what I enjoyed the most. First, I started off with measuring some of the wood pieces. And because I was not very confident or I did not feel very safe using the cross cutter, I asked my brother to assist me. So I measured and he cut the pieces of wood. We made sure all the pieces fit together properly to how we planned them, and so we ended up creating the frame first. I assembled the initial frame, which is the outline of the structure, and I began to nail the pieces of wood that the plants would rest on, which is the platforms. The structure itself was finally complete. All I had to do was sand and stain. For sanding, I did not have a palm sander, so I had to manually sand by hand. I used 2 different types. One was a coarse sandpaper, which got rid of the rougher edges, while the second was more of a fine sandpaper, which allowed a smooth finishing texture for the wood. Next, I used a wood penetrating oil to finish the shelf. I used a paintbrush and went over the shelf with a thin layer. It absorbed the oils and I allowed it to dry. Once all the wood has absorbed all the oil, I finally had my finishing product. Now, I thoroughly did enjoy this project. However, the part I struggled with the most was getting everybody's approval with my final design. I learned that building things from scratch is not as simple as one may think. It is not as simple as just having a vision, gathering your supplies, and assembling. Absolutely not. This project involved a lot of planning. Majority of the time I spent doing this project was planning. Many factors came into play, like the center of gravity, how much weight it can hold, the structural integrity of it. All those sorts of things came into play when building this. And so I struggled with accommodating all of those factors to create a successful product. Many ideas and designs were pitched, yet many were flawed. I'm aware that my product is not perfect, however, I know there's always room for improvement. I tried using all different types of sources to communicate my ideas. I tried just sketching it out on paper, electronically. I tried using a program to design it. I also tried making it out of popsicle sticks and just overall drawing it onto my notes on my phone. All these ideas simply did not meet all the requirements and expectations I was looking for. This thought process created a new level of appreciation that I commend people who do this for a living. Overall, throughout this journey of building, I have learned many things. I have learned that creating new products by hand can be a struggle. It's a long process, but in the end, I believe it's worth it. I also learned that I deem myself to be a kinesthetic learner. So once again, hands-on things. That's just something that I can pick up things more easily for. Once again, as I mentioned before, this project gave me an excuse to spend more time with my friends and family because that's something that I truly value in life. And cherishing every single moment with them. And plus, this was a whole new learning process that I thoroughly enjoyed. And that concludes my capstone project and presentation. Throughout this journey, I have discovered many things about myself and the life of woodworking, and I find it to control of my own happiness. Thank you for your time and your undivided attention.